Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's filming day and I'm filming a lot of videos. So, yeah, and I'm repping. Okay, so today's video is going to be all about employment. This is a highly requested topic because we all know as students we live together on the struggle bus. We're used to it by now. It is what it is. We struggle together. We succeed together. That's just what life is as a student. So, if you have any questions about, what it's like to be employed during this time or to be unemployed during this time, stay tuned and keep on watching. Alrighty guys, let's just jump right into it. I think I'm going to start off this video just by telling you guys my personal experience with this, just because I feel like that's important and I need to be transparent about that with y'all, because I can't be giving advice without telling y'all what I'm doing. You feel me? I worked throughout all of my undergraduate degree. I always worked part-time. I was a full-time student, but I worked part-time. Now, that formula doesn't really work in the law school arena, just because law school is a whole different beast. Now, keep in mind, I'm not in law school yet. I'm studying for the Lsat. Employment can also be a tricky thing when you're studying for the Lsat, because studying for the Lsat takes up a lot of time. We're talking like 8 hours a day, a lot of time. And if you're thinking, hold up, I work 8 hours a day, I can't study for the next 8 hours a day, you would be right. So a lot of things happen in this scenario when people are like, okay, I'm gonna go to law school, I need to study for the Lsat. Usually people got student loans to pay off, so they can't not work. I mean, they could if they defer their loan payment, but we all know that you're not supposed to do that because then your debt increases like tenfold. So a lot of people that I know who have student loans to pay off decide to work for a couple of years and save up that money, and then they, take a break from working and then they dedicate themselves full time to studying for law school and law school later on. A lot of people work full time and then they get a tutoring program or a course where they can go after work or on the weekends or whatever works for their schedule. Now, when you get tricky is when you make the decision to be unemployed, which is what I have decided to do. Now, I want to be very clear about this. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone has different lifestyles that they have to accommodate. Everyone has different choices that work for them. Like I said, I'm going to keep it 300. I am completely supported by my parents. I live at home with my two parents. I don't have bills to pay. They helped, pay for college. They paid for my undergraduate degree, which means I didn't have to take out loans because I had scholarships in addition to what they were paying. Obviously my parents worked for years to save up for my college, and, shout out to them. But I'm very aware of the fact that not everyone can say that, and not everyone has the luxury of not working like I do. However, I do want to make it clear that the grass is not greener on the other side, you guys. It's really tough, especially for someone like me who is super independent and I like to have, my own stream of income, and, I just like to be independent, and I don't like to have to depend on my parents for things, because in my eyes, as parents, they've already done what they were responsible for. Like, they sent me to college. I feel like now it's my turn to be responsible and to do those things for myself. Obviously, me and them disagree on that. They think like, if you're Latina, then if you're Latinx, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, your parents really be out here telling you, oh, you can stay home for forever. That's just not how life works. But, that's a different topic for a different day. So it's hard to be in the situation where I'm constantly having to depend on my parents, like, for the smallest things, you guys. Like, keeping it real. I have not left my house and I don't know how long because I can't afford to. I just can't afford to go out with my friends and like do the things that my friends can do because they have jobs and I don't. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'll go out here and there, and you know, my friends are super understanding, and you know, I have great friends that way and I have supportive people that way. But it's not the best feeling, you know, especially when you're used to being independent and when you're used to having a job. Like I said, I worked all throughout undergraduate, so I'm used to having a job and I'm used to having my own income. So to be here now, it's like a little bit of an adjustment. But, you know, the other side of that is there are people who have bills to pay and student loans to pay off and families to support if they have kids, and, you know, rent to pay, and all of these different things that are their struggle that are not my struggle. So I get that, which is why I'm talking about this. So now that y'all know all of that, I want to talk about the different options that you have in navigating this difficult time. So like I said, there is the option of working full time and taking a course. Now, for some of you, you might be saying, girl, take a course, that's money, like that's coin that I don't have because I'm working full time to pay rent and feed my kids and, you know, pay my bills and all that stuff. Yes, in some cases that's true. But I encourage those people who are in that situation to do your research on tutors and on programs. Now, we all know that Kaplan is expensive out here, okay? Kaplan, you need to get your life, get it together, because nobody's out here paying $2,000 for a tutoring class that they don't know if it's gonna work for them, okay? Okay. Now, with Kaplan out of the question, there are a lot of other tutoring programs that are affordable. For example, 7Sage. I'm not just saying it because I use it and I love it. I'm saying it because I genuinely believe that I am getting my money's worth. Like, I really feel, and every day that I do it, I see an improvement. Every day I learn something new that I didn't learn when I was self-studying. I learn a new strategy, and I see like there's so many resources on 7Sage, like it's ridiculous. And there's levels to 7Sage. Like there are different levels. Like for example, if you just want it for like a couple of months, there's a level for that. If you want it for like 12 months, there's a level for that. So you have the option and the flexibility to choose something that is not only affordable, but has exactly what you need. So you're not paying, you know, for something that you feel like you don't need. Like if you feel like you don't need a lot of focus on the logic games, then pick the one that doesn't focus on logic games as much and focuses on reading comprehension and logical reasoning. So I really like it for that. Now, if you're not into 7Sage, there's so many other things out there. Like Khan Academy partnered up with Lsat.org to offer a free program, and it's awesome. I tried it for a couple of weeks and it's awesome. I felt like I needed something more, which is why I went to 7Sage. But if you feel like it works for you and you don't need something more, go the free route. I mean, hello. If those things don't work for you, then try an in-person tutor. One of my colleagues that I used to work with at my last job, she was working full-time as a legal assistant, and then she went and did this course after work. And it was pretty affordable for her, and it worked for her because she said, you know, I was forced to do it because not only did I pay for the class, but it was on my way home from work. So, you know, what was my excuse for not going, you know? So if you're in that situation where you have to work and you don't have a choice, do your research. And on top of doing your research, I would also suggest reaching out to people in the industry and asking how they did it. Lawyers are super approachable, you guys. I really feel like the lawyers get a bad rap, and people say that they're not approachable and they have like type A personalities, but at least in my experience, I have not met one yet who's not willing to give me advice. I just haven't. Like, they always are willing to give you advice and tell you what to do and what not to do. So reach out. Don't be scared. And you never know. You never know if it leads to a job opportunity that pays more. So, you know, do your research. Now, for those of you who are in my boat of the unemployment boat, fear not, we will be okay too. I think it is an adjustment to be unemployed and to be, you know, dependent on parents or on whoever you're dependent on. I know that there's a lot of people out there who, you know, in this social media crazy world, feel like, you know, they see people living a certain way, especially if they're in the same age range. They see people living a certain way and they have this or they have that, or they're doing this or they're traveling there. The number one thing that you have to do if you are on this law school journey, hunty, you got to get rid of all of that. You have to get rid of all of that, because if you allow that to control the things that you do, you've already lost. You have already lost. You need to understand that Instagram and Snapchat and all of that stuff is a snapshot of a person's life. It's the highlight reel of a person's life. You know what I mean? They're never going to show you the negative things, okay, unless they're a real one. If they're a real one, then you know. But 95% of the time, people are not showing you the bad things that happen to them, or the ups and the downs of their life, because that's not the point. They want to flex on the gram, and that's fine. But you cannot let that discourage you and, you know, make you make choices that are going to hurt you in the long run. Like, I know a lot of people who, you know, they get credit cards and they do all these wild things and rack up all this credit card debt because they want to be flexing, but they don't have the income to then pay off the credit card. Like, you can't do that. You are going to ruin your credit. You are going to get yourself in a hole of debt. And for what? Because you want to flex for a 5-minute picture? That don't make too much sense to me. So you need to rid yourself of all of those things and of all of those opinions, and you need to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Number 2, I think you have to have an honest conversation with the people around you, with your friends and with your family, and let them know that you are about to embark on a journey that, you know, is probably going to make them feel like you're not around as much, that you don't pay attention to them as much. But you need to tell them, it's not because I want to. It's not because I don't care about you. It's not because I don't want to hang out with you. It's just because I can't. And this is a small sacrifice that I have to make right now in order to reach my dream later on. And if they understand that and if they rock with you, then you know you got a ride or die team behind you. And unfortunately, if they don't understand that and if they're giving you a hard time, then I would consider getting a new group of friends. Because if they can't ride with you in your lows, then they won't ride with you in your highs, okay? Okay. Tip number 3 for the people on the unemployment bus is know that the sacrifice is going to pay off, okay? And make the most of the sacrifice. Don't just say that you're not gonna work and that you're gonna dedicate yourself to studying and then not do it. Because, child, we ain't got time for all of that, okay? If you're making the sacrifice to not work and to not have a living wage and to depend on other people, then you need to make that sacrifice worthwhile. You need to be diligent about your studying. You need to treat it like it's a job. You need to study day in and day out. You need to create a schedule for yourself. If you are, let's say, a regular job, it's a 9-to-5 job, right? You need to be studying 9 to 5, honey. Of course, you need to give yourself a little break, you know, scheduling a lunch break or whatever, but you need to be studying 9 to 5, okay? And that's just my opinion. Other people might feel a different way, and that's okay. But I feel like if I'm making this sacrifice and I'm not, you know, making an income and I'm, you know, on the struggle bus, then I'm gonna make this struggle worth it. And I'm gonna get the best score that I can possibly get to make this sacrifice worth it for me. You also need to schedule in some mental health days in there. Don't just bury yourself in an Lsat hole and burn yourself out. You need to have days, like maybe schedule one day out of a week where you do hang out with your friends. Maybe you're not going out, but maybe you stay in and have a girls' night in or a guys' night in, or, you know, you watch a basketball game or you watch a movie or, you know, whatever, you know. If you have those friends with you that are willing to, you know, ride with you, then invite them over and just have a catch-up date and have some little snacks and stay in and save some money, you know. Which brings me to my tip number 4, save money. Do not, hear this loud and clear, people. Do not get yourself into credit card debt, people. It's not worth it. I don't care what you're buying. I don't care what latest thing you want, what latest fancy makeup you want, what latest Adidas thing is out. I don't care. Do not use your credit card. Pay it off. Put the credit card somewhere where you can't find it. Give the credit card to your parents. Give your credit card to your sibling to hide it for you. Don't use a credit card, period. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the excuses. Don't use your credit card. Okay? Okay. That's pro tip number 1. Because how are you going to pay it off? You got to think to yourself, how are you going to pay it off? And then you're going to accrue interest on that. It's just a mess. Avoid yourself the mess, people. Avoid it. Number 2, don't go shopping unless you need to. Stick to your essentials, okay? If you need, like me, for example, I needed a couple sweaters for this brick city temperature going on in the Northeast. I bought a couple things on sale. Become a heavy budgeter, okay? Create a budget for yourself. Get rid of anything, any subscriptions for magazines or streaming services that you don't need. Chuck it. Chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. I used to use Hulu and like Netflix and all that stuff. Now my parents have their own Netflix that they pay for that I benefit from, okay? But the one I was paying for, buy. Hulu, buy. Newspapers, buy. Magazines, buy. Coupons, buy. Everything that I was like, the paying, even if it's $1.99, it doesn't matter. It catches up, you guys, trust me. If you have to buy things, like, obviously we all have to buy, toiletries. We have to buy things, we're human, we human. Use coupons, use Groupon. People be sleeping on Groupon, okay? Listen, people, and they got on the boat after Tiffany Haddish, had her little cute Super Bowl commercial. Groupon has always been a lifesaver. I live by Groupon, I love it. I get free haircuts off of Groupon. I get free spa days off of Groupon. It's lit. Use coupons. Go to discount stores. Like, obviously, I'm a lady, so I need, like face wash and, facial wipes and hairspray and all that jazz. So I go to like discount makeup stores and cosmetic stores that sell things for like, $2.99, $3.99. If you're in New York, then the Harmons, be living. I live at Harmons. Just find cheaper alternatives for the things that you usually buy. Like, buy in bulk too, like Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, a lifesaver because you can buy in bulk and it's cheaper and it'll last you longer. So, just be more frugal, and just remind yourself it's not going to be forever. You're not going to be like this forever. This is just a sacrifice that you have to make for right now, and that's okay. I feel like it's really hard for people in this generation because they want the latest thing and they want the latest trend. And if you are out here trying to be a doctor, a lawyer, a PhD, anything that is going to take up a lot of your time, you need to prepare yourself to be on the struggle bus, and that's just the reality of the situation. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they lying. They are lying to you, okay? Okay. Oh, pro tip that I actually did this year, you guys. I did a lot of spring cleaning in my room this year. As you guys know, I have said this so many times on my channel. My family's moving and we are selling our house, which means, and we're downsizing to a smaller place, which means that we have to get rid of a lot of things that we don't use anymore. So what I did, shout out to my sister who let me know, Poshmark. Poshmark is a great way to make some extra cash and sell things. So like if you have things that you're trying to clean out of your closet, like shoes, clothes, even books, I think you can sell books on there. I don't really know, but whatever. It's mainly shoes and clothes. If you have things that you don't really wear anymore, obviously they have to be in good condition. You can sell it for extra cash, and it's really great, you guys. I think I earned 30 extra bucks on Poshmark. Obviously I wasn't selling like expensive things. I don't really have, luxury brand items like that, but I was selling, decent clothing that I had barely worn, if at all, and I got good money for it. So look up on things where you can sell things like Poshmark. There's also Let Go and Offer Up, things like that where you can make some extra cash. Look for ways to make some extra cash, like YouTube. YouTube is a great way to make extra money. I don't make any money off of YouTube because obviously I just started and I don't have any sponsorships or anything like that at all. So I don't make any money off of this, but hopefully one day I will. Who knows? If you guys keep watching and liking and engaging with my stuff, hopefully I can monetize it and make some money off of this. You know, it's all about thinking outside of the box and diversifying your income. You know, a lot of people, especially in our generation, are looking for new ways to make cash because we live in an unpredictable world. You know, you can't just depend on one job and, you know, plan on retiring, because that's just not the world we live in anymore. Like, my father's generation is like the last generation who was working in one job for like 20 plus years. Like, that just doesn't happen anymore. And if it does happen, congrats to you, but I don't really know that many people who are staying in a position for 20, 30 years and retiring with a nice 401k pension. So you need to diversify your income. You need to find new ways to make money. And there's so many new ways to make money with all these brands, partnerships and sponsorships. You know, you can make decent money. I'm not with the whole, you know, ripping people off and just like recommending things that you don't actually like just to make money. I personally don't, you know, support that, and I don't think that that's cool. I just don't understand, you know, why you would recommend things that you don't really use, but hey, whatever, to each his own. But yeah, you guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope I covered all the bases. I'm pretty sure I did not. As I said, I'm learning this experience day by day, and I'm just kind of relaying everything that I learned to you guys. So there's definitely things that I miss and probably things that I'm wrong on. But if you guys have any more questions, you can always leave them down in the comment section. I always check my comment section because I love seeing your comments. I love to engage with you guys. I just love it. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.